Hello, friends. Hello and good morning. I am so excited to kick off the classes with you on this beautiful Saturday morning. I'm seeing all my friends coming in. Who is here? Arletta Dixon, Maria Hayon, Lisa Zapponi, LJ Wakefield. Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad you guys are here. Marcy just asked, soft pants, question mark? I will stand up and show you. I did put on my soft pants. Catherine told me to. So I'm going to be sitting most of the time, and that's not typical for me. But I figured, why not relax and just enjoy this morning? And I want you to do the same. If you didn't get to your homework, I don't want you to stress out. If it feels better for you just to watch the class first and work on these layouts later, that's what I want you to do. So this is all about starting off this day in a really relaxed way, mainly as we talked about in the kickoff this morning, because I had you do most of the hard work in advance. So this morning's class is all about putting together our single and double page layout. I'm going to talk to you about design tips, why I did what I did when I was creating these pages so that you can gain a little bit of inspiration into the way my brain works. And you have your notes section in your book so that you can take all sorts of notes. And I want you to kind of, remember that what I'm showing you on these layouts, you can recreate on future layouts. Okay, soft pants do rule, Paula. Good morning, Marie France. Nice to see you. Yay for soft pants. Awesome. Yes, Catherine says everyone's coming in from all over the world. Tracy Jenkins, good morning, my friend. Hello, Leanne Butler. Nice to see you. Okay, Leanne, I want to see a picture of your view this morning from your space. Angela's doing her homework. That's great. So Angela's busy die cutting and she can listen along because that's what our homework pretty much was a lot of scallop die cutting. All right, Douglas, can we go to the overhead? You guys don't have to see me anymore. I'll be up in the corner, I think, right? I'll be in the corner. Let's see. Good morning from Iowa, says Dawn. Good morning from Atlanta. Love your classes. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So we are going to get started with our single page layout first. I always like to kick things off with a single page because I feel like it sets the tone. It sets the tone for the class. And I know not everyone is a double page scrapbooker. Oh, thank you, Douglas. Yeah, you don't have to see me, do you? You don't have to see me. All right, so here's our single page layout. So what I love about this page, as I told you in your book, this is a grid, but it's not just any grid. We are making a grid with our scallop circles that we die cut in homework, but we're breaking those up with our placement of our embellishments so that it doesn't feel so regimented, right? We're breaking up those harsh lines with lots of different shapes. This is also an example of how you can create a grid with any shape imaginable. And this is how your dies come into play. Because I know of you, a lot of you who may be card makers too, or might have card making supplies from the past when you used to card make, have a lot of shape dies. So you might have nested shapes. And this is where I want you to start thinking about what's in your stash. What dies do you have in your stash that can recreate this page with different shapes? Are those diamonds? Are those straight up circles? Are they stars? Like things like that would be so fun on this page. Okay, so in our booklet, I'm right at the beginning. Page 3 is where I'm starting things off, you guys. So you have your kit supplies are here, and hopefully you've checked that in advance. You've already used your die, and let me just, pull out the die real quick and just talk about how great this die set is, because not only do you get those amazing scallop shapes. Hold on, I'm almost about to make things fall off the desk here. There we go. Not only do you get those amazing scallop shapes, but you also get all of those florals, which you can use for so many things as embellishments. I just love them. It's a great die set. I chose this way long ago, and I thought it would be absolutely perfect for this class and perfect with any collection that you have on hand. Our student supplies are really simple for this class. You just need your paper trimmer. I did use a circle die or circle templates to create this page. We used our die cutting machine already. So in class, all you're gonna need is your paper trimmer, your tape runner, liquid adhesive, and foam adhesive. If you want to punch holes, you'll need a standard hole punch. And then if you opted to stitch on your scallop circles, you'll want that embroidery floss. And then I have some baker's twine too. So in my meet and greet the other day, I showed you guys a little bit of how, oh, actually I didn't. It was after my meet and greet. I posted a video to the Facebook group under my meet and greet thread, which showed you how to stitch on your scallop circles. So if you didn't catch that and you want to stitch on your scallop circles, it's really easy to do so with just a basic back stitch. So I posted this to the Facebook group. So if you missed it, you can go back and watch. Now, if you've just decided now, after seeing this page in person, that you really want to stitch, and I'll go closer here. If you've decided that you really want to stitch, it just creates that little edge detail around the white border around your photos. If you want to do that, then you can definitely not adhere these down all the way and do that a little later. Douglas is setting up my detail camera here. And you can do that later. I'm going to tell you how you can do that because I'm going to be making these layouts for Catherine. So I am not going to be adhering some things all the way down. I'm going to be using my powder tool. I'm going to be using my favorite repositionable adhesive, which is this one from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. And so that I can go back and add things at a later date. Okay. Tracy says, Meg, you know, I'm seeing cards with this die set. Absolutely. And it is definitely a die set that can be used for both. Okay, just seeing if I have any questions here before I get into it. Patty is a single page scrapbooker. I get you. And I showed you in the meet and greet how that double page Patty will make 2 amazing single pagers. Lori says, I'm sure the answer is somewhere, but how do you get the holes for the stitching? So Lori, what I did is I used like a pokey tool. Any kind of pokey tool. Look, I have one from Gina K here. See something like this? I use a pokey tool and a foam mat. You kind of have to have a foam mat so it can go into the paper. And I just popped little holes every about 1/8 of an inch. That's how I did it. And where I did that was right on the edge of my scallop circle. Can you go to the detail camera, Douglas? Is it working okay? Okay, thank you. Okay, so see the scallop circle right there? Those holes are right on the edge of the white cardstock. And that white cardstock is what I had you guys cut in homework. I think it's about 2, what did I say? 2 1/2 to 2 3/8, somewhere along those lines. And so I popped those holes right on the outside of that cardstock so that when you do the stitching, let me hold it down here, so that when you do the stitching, those stitch lines are right on the outside of that white cardstock, and it kind of creates a little textural border. So this is definitely something you don't have to do if you're not a stitcher, but it just adds that extra detail. The layout that I'm creating this morning for Catherine's album will not have the stitch detail, so you'll get to see it both ways, and then you can decide. I hope that answered your question, Lori. Okay, you're welcome, Lori. Okay, perfect. LJ says, question, ideas to create the stitched without actually sewing? Absolutely. You could use a marker and just do little lines around it. I wouldn't draw a circle around it. I would do little lines, maybe separate them by a tiny little bit. So you could do that. Other than that, I don't think so. I would just leave it. Just see what you think about mine, LJ, that I'm creating in class, and then decide what you want to do. All right, let's get into layout number 1. I'm going to pop this one over here so I can pull it over for you guys. Take a deep breath. We're going to have so much fun in this class. It's going to be super easy. Ooh, I went the wrong way. Super easy. Yeah, drawing the lines is definitely something you could do. Just take a navy blue, marker, not too thick, I would say. So this is going to be our layout background. This paper is called Scenic Route. It kind of pained me a little bit to use it for the background because I love these, but we're going to be making, those balloons are going to be making an appearance on layout 2. And we're just going to trim our manufacturer strip off of there to give us our tone on tone. Now, instead of using a piece of plain cardstock, I love using a tone on tone paper. And you can see that kind of luggage design back there. It instantly adds texture to your page. So when I'm looking for a paper to use for my background, I don't automatically go and grab a piece of cardstock. I will often go to the collection and see what tone on tone papers there are. I'm going to be using a tone on tone grid or ledger in layout 2. So I'm kind of doing the same thing on both layouts. So I really want you guys to think about it's just another way to elevate your page by adding that little texture on the background. Okay, so that's step 1, right? Really easy. Then we're going to grab a couple of journaling spots from the Journal Bits pack. So I have everything kind of pulled out here. I'm going to show you these journaling bits. So you have a journaling bits pack or sentiment. No, I got to remember what they're called. You have the journal bits and the sentiment bits. So these are from the journal bits pack, both of these. You have the blue destination, which is that one. And you have the orange airplane one. This one has a hole at the top, so you can pop out that hole. And if you want to switch things up and use something different, you can certainly do so. The reason why we're putting these on now is because they go underneath of our scallop circles, so we need to get those on. So I'm going to adhere the destination tag, just using regular adhesive. This is going to be about 7 1/4 inches from the top edge. So you can use like your grid here, or you can use your ruler. So I'm going to hold up my ruler and pop that right on the edge, 7 1/4 inches down. Oh, and let's not put it upside down though. Let's not do that. Okay. Well, Darcel said, yes, you hate when you have to use, you love to use the B side, but you love the A side too. And that is when you should get a second collection pack, right? I know a lot of us buy collection packs now because it's just easier. And so sometimes it's necessary to buy the second collection pack. Okay, on the top, we're going to measure 7 inches over from the left edge, so 7 inches. And that's where we're going to pop this little guy. So he's going to fall somewhere in between. I'm going to make sure that that is right. Yep, looks good. He is going to fall in between our second and third scallop there. Okay, so these are really just to add a little bit of detail to the background and to kind of break up those lines in our grid again. On this one, I added just a tiny bit of journaling. It just says, I love French food, because I do. And then here, I just added the date and the destination. So you can do that later. Now, if you love to journal using like a computer font, there is a video on the Scrapbooking Cards Today channel called 5-Minute Adhesive Tips with Meghann, where I show you how I add my journaling using temporary adhesive like this one from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. And you guys can always check that out later. I believe Catherine was going to post that one. Okay, so there's 1 and 2 done. Now we're going to grab our scalloped circles. So this is the hardest part of the layout, is just laying these out. And I'm going to show you how I laid mine out. If you want to do your patterns in the exact same place as me, then you can do that. Okay, so we are going to grab our globe as well that I had you guys die cut out or use a circle template. That is going to go right in the middle of our page, okay? So what you can do to start off, you know your page is 12 by 12. So I want you to make a nice big mark because we're going to be covering this up at 6 inches, right, by 6 inches. So make a big cross there. All right, so I can see that with my pencil marks there. Your ruler is going to be important here. Now, there's a cross in your die cut here. where those two lines meet, your longitudinal and latitudinal lines meet. So you can put that right there. I can even put it on with temporary adhesive. This is where if you have temporary adhesive on your desk, it really comes in handy if you find that things move around, because sometimes that happens and you get things in just the right place and then they shift and you have to start over again, and that's upsetting. Okay, thank you, Catherine. All right, everyone's quiet because they think they're working along like busy little bees. Okay, so in the top left corner, I have my striped scallop circle. Next, I have that multicolored plaid. We're just laying these out. We're not adhering just yet. Then I have the tone-on-tone green. Next, I have the polka dot right there. Then I have the floral, which is probably my favorite pattern in this entire collection because I think it's just gorgeous. Then I have the luggage down here in the bottom right. Then this is my other favorite, the starburst, the sunburst one with the multicolor sunburst. And then the teal. Now, one little tip when you're laying these out, you want them all to be facing the same way. And you're probably thinking, well, these are scallop circles. How do they face the same way? You want one scallop to be upright, right? So make sure that that's straight instead of the center point between the scallops at the top. You want the center point of the actual scallop at the top. Okay, so here's how I did this. And there's not really any math required. You just know that everything's 6 inches by 6 inches. So on this one, this is about 3/4 of an inch separation between the globe and the bottom of the scallop. So about 3/4 of an inch, okay? And then you want to make sure that you're centered at 6 inches because we know our globe is centered at 6 and we have about 3/4 of an inch from here. And so we're going to try to keep those boundaries all the way across. So there's the placement for that one. And I'm going to pop a little adhesive underneath there like that. So you guys see that? So we're going to start off with the ones that are above and below our globe. Then we're going to do the ones at the corners and then finally these ones here. So I want you to go about 3/4 of an inch. I know. Marcy says, I love that for my OCD. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm right there with you, Marcy. So I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of here. We're going to measure 6 inches to kind of make sure that this is centered on the page. 6 inches. And then you can put that 6-inch mark kind of underneath so you'll hide it, and about 3/4. So in the light, I can really see where that line is meant to be. And just make sure that your scallop's straight up and down. That one turned. Okay, so now I have that one and that one there. And then we can go back and adhere with our foam adhesive. Now, yeah, yes, question. How far from the edge? I don't have the center circle cut. Okay, Kristen, good question. So from the edge, you're looking at 5/8. So 1/8 of an inch past the 1/2 inch, right? 5/8. Same down here, 5/8 of an inch from the edge. So you're gonna have a little bit more room here because we have all those embellishments and things, okay? So the reason why I'm doing this first with our temporary adhesive is because I want us to just get it all laid out, and then we can go in and put some foam adhesive on the back and some liquid adhesive so that it's a little bit easier to shift it slightly if we have to. Okay, so keep that 5/8 of an inch from the top. Make sure, look, I have my spatula, you guys. I have my handy dandy spatula. I need to pull this up from here. Okay, so that lays over the top. So that looks good. I'm going to go to this bottom one down here. I love this layout too, Tracy. I love it. Do you know what I love about this collection, you guys? And when, you know, we had to pivot and choose a different collection, which was sad for me because, you know, I had planned on using Vicky's for so long. But when I saw this collection, I thought, well, this is perfect because it is just travel. It's not beach. It's not, it can be any sort of trip whatsoever. And I love that. Okay. So on this one, I'm going to go 5/8 of an inch from the edge and make sure that these are lined up. Now, if it helps you to stand up to do this, like, so for instance, here, I'm going to stand up to make sure that this is aligned with this side. So if you measure 5/8 of an inch from the top and down, then you're going to be able to get that in place. If you want to wing it right now and just pop it up with your foam adhesive, then by all means do that. Okay, that looks good. I'm much more of an eyeballer. So the thing is that when you have these all in place and you know things won't move, and then I'm going to measure 6 inches down from the top here for these center ones. So I know where that center point is. So this one is going to be overlapping this destination tag just slightly, the very top edge of the destination tag. And you're going to see that this scallop should line up with the center point of your globe. See that line that goes across the globe? So you kind of have these little markers that tell you if things are lining up correctly.
Megan, there's a question.
Yeah, where can I find the photo templates? I could not find them last night or this morning. Thanks. So those photo templates are in the instructions, I believe. I looked last night and they were there. I think they're in the instructions and they're right at the top of the page. Thank you, Douglas. Catherine, if you could confirm that for me. I think they're in instructions, not homework. Yes, pretty positive. Okay, so that's what everything is going to look like. Now, if you have decided just now that you want to stitch, then I would say do not pop things up, leave these on with temporary adhesive, and get everything else in place with temporary adhesive so that you can stitch, then go back and adhere things. But if you're happy with this, so look at the difference in the pages. So if you're happy with this, then it's really easy, you know, for you to just put everything together as it is. Okay. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. I didn't realize you were here. Thank you so much. Okay, so when she says photo templates, let me show you the photo templates. I gave you guys all 2 1/4 inch circles, right? So you can put these photo templates on here, just like that, so that you know what size to print out your photos. Now, a little tip, you can cut your photos with die cuts as well. So the only thing you have to do is when you put your photo on your die cutting machine, make sure that your top plate is clean. It doesn't have cuts in it. You have a clean top plate or else it's going to put those indentations on your photo. The other thing you need to do is kind of put a piece of cardstock or something underneath of your photo so that you get a nice clean cut. It just adds a little bit more pressure. So our 2 1/4 inch circles are going to go right on the inside so that you have a really nice white border with that white cardstock there. So that's what that's going to be like. Okay. All right, so I can pop these on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one at a time. So while everything else is in place, I'm going to do one thing at a time, starting with this piece here. So you guys are going to be so proud of me that I pulled a Virginia. Look at this. So whenever I finish a sheet of adhesive and I have that kind of adhesive paper, I know that you can get it on Amazon too. Do I have scissors here? Oh no. Yes, I do. You can get it on Amazon too, like sticker paper, I think they call it, or sticker backing paper. Then I save that so that when I go to cut my adhesive in advance, I have something to stick it to. All right, so when you pull up one thing at a time, then everything else is in place and you won't have to worry about lining everything up again. Okay, so we're gonna just start adding our foam adhesive to the back. I would highly recommend that you do use foam adhesive here because it really elevates the page, makes it really stand out. All right. Oh, Valerie is using this to document her family's trip to Ireland. Now, if you guys were in my destination documented class, how many of you guys, raise your hand, have been in that class before? Because in that class, I taught you how to break down a vacation in an overview layout and then a single story page. So typically in my overview layout, I would make that a bigger page, like a double page spread. But in this case, we're doing a single page overview layout in a grid so that we can fit 8 total pictures on here, which is pretty huge, right? Okay, I just used my pencil marks there to line that up. Now, here's a little tip for you. Let me go back to that in a second. Here's a little tip. Once you get your foam adhesive on, and I'm going to do these on the circles so that you can see, grab your glue. I have Connect glue from Gina K here, so I'm going to use that. Let me put my little photo template on here. And you don't have to put the photo templates on right this second. You could put those on later just so you remember in future what size you want your photo to be. So I'm going to put this on here, but look what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my Connect glue and pop some Connect glue on this foam. And what that's going to do is going to give me a little bit of time and some wiggle room. Okay, so I'm going to line up my scallops here with that grid, and I'm going to line up, got to get my glue kind of glue in under here, and I'm going to line up the top of this, this, and this, right? It's going to look a tiny bit higher because it's popped up now, but there we go. So then I can place that down. But when you add that glue, it adds just a little bit of time to where it won't stick right away. Hey, Cheryl Ann in Ontario, thanks for being here. Oh, Jill's documenting her honeymoon in Italy. I took my honeymoon in Italy too, and that is when I started scrapbooking, Jill. Was my, my honeymoon album in 2008. So I came home from that trip and decided I was going to do a mini album. It's horrible, but you know, yours is going to be much nicer. Yeah, okay. So all we're doing here is just popping our scallops on. So Jen Watson asked, how would you extend this into a 2-pager? Asking for those who have so many travel photos. Well, Jen, you could do just photos on the opposite side, like a photo grid. This is kind of a hard one to extend into a 2-pager. And that's because you have this kind of really regimented grid. So I think this is one that I would just do a page of just photos on the side. Okay, so this one I'm going to line up here and here. So these 2 scallops should be right across from each other. These should be aligned there, and then I can place that down. See how I have a little bit of wiggle? See how I can wiggle it? So you can get it just in place. That looks good. Oh, Marcy goes to Italy in September. I love that for you. Oh, Dora's son had a lacrosse tournament in Ireland. Fancy. Sounds like it was worth spending all that money for lacrosse, Dora. Absolutely. So, because you got to go on a trip to Ireland. Love that. Okay, let's get our adhesive on here. I say that because my daughter plays travel soccer, so I know how much money sports are. Absolutely. Oh, Kim is saying these pages are working great for Monet's garden. Absolutely. And it's funny you say that because I'm going to give these to Catherine and Jack, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some Paris photos on here. So on these pages. And I think the colors are just perfect for anything. All right, so for this one, you want to make sure that your scallop lines up with this line across your globe, and then you can pop that on. See how easy it is? Once you have everything in a line, then you can go in. That's why we wanted to, get these kind of in place first. before we pop them up. Because if you started out by popping everything up and then you realize something was misaligned, then you're going to tear up your background paper. So you kind of have to take this one slow and steady. All right, I'm going to move my paper trimmer because it is not needed until layout 2. And I'm going to go to this bottom one. Yes to a 2-pager, says Hiroko. Absolutely. I mean, these are your layouts in your album, and I want you to make them exactly what you want. And I said that for, I think it's layout 2. Like, I used the photos that I used, but everybody has different photos, so super easy to kind of take the design and make it your own. Okay. Kathy's going to be documenting the street sign she took while walking in New York on a walk from Battery Park to Broadway. I love that. That's a great idea. So you have kind of a theme going with yours. So the only thing about using liquid adhesive, I will let you guys know, is that it can slightly pull up your background paper, kind of warp it just a little bit, but it's really easy to put, you know, anything on it to press it down after you're done. Okay, so we're making our way around. Keep on losing my scissors here. Okay. Oh, Jill and Hiroko met on a plane on the way home from She Loves Color. I love that. How cool is that? Friends who know each other in real life. That's really cool. Okay. An Alaskan cruise. I love that too. Colors would be great for that too. Okay. And here is this one, lining it up with this line and this line over here. So this is kind of the boring part of the layout, but you want to get this part right. You want to get it right. There we go. I love that we're using glue here because I just moved that about 3 times. Okay, and then now think of this. If you get something 1/4 of an inch off, 1/8 of an inch off, and it really bothers you, I would say do not tear up your page because we're going to be putting embellishments over the top that are going to hide things, right? It's going to hide things. Oh, Tina is getting her pages ready for an upcoming Hawaii trip. Yes, that's so cool. And Dorina she's doing this in advance of her Alaskan cruise. I love that. Love that, love that. So this is another way. Douglas, was there something that I was like, I'm going to go back to that? And I totally forgot. I lost my train of thought, didn't I? He's like, I can't keep track of that. That's so funny. Yeah, I think I lost my train of thought somewhere in there. I was talking about something. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. So, okay. This is a great way.
We do have a question, though.
Oh, we do have a question. Yes, you're popping up all of the scallop circles, Tammy. Absolutely. It's going to just really make this page pop. It's going to make it look awesome and help it to stand out from that background as well, so that our embellishments are kind of elevated as well. So we're on number 3. This is where we're, laying out our grid. And I have 2 more to do. You're welcome, Tammy. Squirrel. Yes, Mona. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what I was going to say, this is the perfect way for you to use a ton of pattern paper on your project. Because you're just seeing a little tiny bit of it, then it doesn't get to be too overwhelming. It doesn't get to be too much. If you had larger pieces of pattern paper all over this layout and all 8 of these patterns, it would be way too much. But because we have these smaller pieces and you're just seeing kind of a peekaboo of each one, it makes it so much more doable. Okay, there's that one. And I'm just going to move it a little bit. So this one covers a tiny bit of that destination tag. There we go. I think this one's higher. I'm going to take my getting down here and see if I can move this, and I can. So this is what a spatula is good for, you guys. Look at this. So my spatula just kind of picked that up so that I could move that down ever so slightly. And that is why I love a spatula. There we go. Okay, my last circle is this one at the top. And I should have enough big pieces of foam adhesive for tonight. I hope so. Hope. Oh, that's a great idea, Anne. Anne is going to print out map pages of her bucket list of places she wants to visit. That is such a cool layout idea. So I love that you guys are giving all these great ideas for what you can use this layout for. So that was a perfect example of why you should use glue, because it makes it so much easier to pull things up. If that was just foam, there's no way I could have pulled that up without ruining the back of my layout. Okay, last one here. That looks pretty good. I think that's good. And if it's not perfect, you know what? That's okay. Alrighty. So my spatula is now very gluey, but that's all right. I'm going to throw away all those back pieces. How is everybody doing getting those on? Oh, Tracy, that's a great idea. Tracy's making a mini album that she made from scratch, but incorporating the layouts in the pages. That's a great idea. Okay. So this is on. How is everybody doing with that? Can you give me a thumbs up emoji or a heart or something if you are good with this part, because I want to move on. And if you are good, why don't you get out the flowers that you die cut for homework. I also want you to pull out the Wander, and this is the Wander die cut, and the Let's See the World little sentiment strip from the Sentiment Bits and Pieces pack, because that's going to be the next things that we put on. I also want you to grab the Vacay All Day tag from the Journal Bits pack. These are going to be the next things we put on. So this is how we're going to break up those lines on our grid. A grid is awesome, but you need something to kind of come out of the grid lines. Everyone is good. Gina K's glue is called Connect Glue, Amy, and it's really great glue. Stefania says, I used to be too intimidated to cut my beautiful papers, so I didn't create much. This class is helping me to let go. Yes, it's so fun. I'm finally excited to document my trips like all of you. I love that, Stefania. And I love your name too. Break up the grid, says Kristen. Otherwise, it looks like a PowerPoint presentation. I love that. No boring PowerPoints in my class. All right. So this is where we add our title. Now, I'm going to be doing foam on top of foam. Okay. I like that dimension. If it stresses you out to try to fit that in your pocket pages, your pockets, then don't worry about doing that. So grab some foam, and we're going to take this Wander and Let's See the World. This is a little bit kind of technique-y how I put these together. I'm going to trim this so that this is going to fit behind my Wander die cut. And again, the Wander is from the Sentiment Bits and Pieces pack. Looks like that. And I love how it incorporates all the colors from the layout. Now, there's a little cutout in the E, and I did not take that out because I have foam adhesive behind. Okay. So I'm going to put my foam adhesive all the way across so that there's no saggy titles. There's no saggy anything in my class. I'm not a bra optional person. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my Let's See the World, and I'm also going to put a little strip behind it. Let me grab a new one here because I want to cut it to be thin enough to fit behind that. And then we're going to kind of attach these together so it looks like one title. And of course mine is not wide enough. Here we go. Love the dimension on this page, says Andrea. Yes. Dimension is life. Oh, that's so cool, Kim. Kim's using like vintage photos from the 90s. I say that with all the love because I'm a child of the 90s. So, I mean, I was born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s, let's be honest. Okay. Let's See the World is from the Same Sentiment Bits and Pieces pack, Lisa. It is a little strip that has a grid on the back. See that? Let's See the World. If you can't find it, if you're having trouble finding it, it's definitely something you can add later. So what I'm going to do is add Wonder right to the center of my globe, making sure that it's straight. If it scares you, put your Connect glue on the back first. Yeah, Pia says I can't make my pages too thick, and he complains when they're too thick because he puts them together. Totally. Then just pop this on with regular adhesive. Now your Let's See the World. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Pia's comment.
Yeah, her husband putting together her layouts, her pages. I love that he does that for you, Pia. Don't we all need husbands like that? Okay, look. So we have Wonder, and then I put Let's See the World right below it so they kind of look like they're together. Okay, vintage 90s. I know, sorry you guys, I'm sorry. Yeah, so funny. Let's hear it for the no saggy titles. Absolutely. Okay, so your vacay all day tag is going to kind of nestle up underneath Wonder, and it's going to sit right on these two here, okay? So if you want to print your journaling, do not put this on right now. If you're okay to write on it, then you can write on it now, write on it later, but I would say just wait to put it on after you've added your journaling because it's much harder to write when it's on the page than it is when it's off, okay? So some of you might have already had your journaling planned and have already journaled on here. So what I'm going to do is add a little square of foam adhesive right here because I know that this is going to get covered up by that journaling spot like that. I'm going to pull this off, but I will take the youngsters to keep the craft alive. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just having a conversation with a card maker about like how we keep kind of crafting going. And my idea is just to teach your children, teach your nieces and nephews, if you don't have kids, teach it at your library, do that. And then we'll kind of keep these going. Darcel, it does feel like a moment ago. Absolutely. Yes. I think about that all the time. I'm like, how has it been this long? Okay. So that's number 4. And that's number 5, your vacay all day. You can also take your baker's twine here and put it in your vacay all day journaling tag. But do you see how adding these shapes just really kind of elevates this page? It makes it a lot more interesting than just having the circles, the scallop circles. I just love it. Having those different shapes. So this is all about contrast here. So, I told you guys that I was going to teach you a few things about design. By having that dark blue background and then putting these, these patterns and colors on top of it, that is adding contrast. So those scallops, those shapes are really popping against that dark blue background. And then you can get contrast by differing shapes. So you have this repetition. Repetition is something we all need on our layouts because it tells your brain that things are connected, right? It makes connections. But when you take a page that has all of these repetitive shapes on it, and then you break it up by popping in a surprise shape, that instantly adds contrast, which kind of tells your brain, oh, this is cool, look at that. And so that's why we did a different shape here with our journaling, because that's obviously something that is important to our pages. Thank you, Virginia. Good morning. Okay, so let's go to number 6. This is where we're going to need our floral sprays that we already built. And remember that there's nothing in the middle of our yellow flower just yet. So because I don't have Catherine's photos already on, I'm going to be careful to adhere my floral sprays just to the pattern paper and not to my circle template. So I'm literally, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add just some glue dots around the top edge of this circle. So we're going to do one up here at the top. And so when Catherine decides to put her pictures on, she'll be able to just gently pull off that circle template and slide her photo underneath and adhere that on. Okay. So pretty. I just love, again, this adds that organic element to these shapes and really adds that contrast. Jack asked me this morning if he was going to have to print photos today. I was like, well, if you want to. So this is going to slightly cover up that bottom edge of your scallop circle. And I'm going to leave that alone so I don't move that. And then I did this side. So I did the top left, the bottom middle, and this right center. Kind of around this bottom edge. Again, this layout is your own. So if you want to put these elsewhere on the page, then do that. I like to keep the leaves unadhered because I think it looks really pretty when they kind of stand up. Now, if you are just mostly concerned, like Pia, about getting them in the pocket page and you want to adhere them down, just make sure your photos are on first. This is definitely one of those pages that you could put in a frame on your wall, though. Oh, Diana, that makes me happy. One of your favorite layouts ever. Okay, so now that we have our floral sprays on, it's time to grab our cardstock stickers, which mine are here. I put things on every side of the desk, so I'm really spread out here. Okay, so this sticker sheet is fantastic. All right, so what we're gonna grab first is our teal suitcase. And you wanna pop out that little cutout bit in the center. So because we're putting this on and it's gonna be overlapping things that are popped up, we're also gonna wanna pop this up too. So I'm gonna put my foam adhesive kind of right here because that suitcase is gonna be sitting just above the W in our title. Marcy says, question, how does everyone print their photos? I print mine at home using like a mini home printer. And I know a lot of other people do that as well. If you wanted to print these at a store, you can use an app to size them first and then print them at a store and then use a circle template or a circle die and cut them out. But yes, I have the, Rachel uses the Canon Pixma. I have the Epson PictureMate, I think it's called. Yes. Catherine, don't pull a Vicky Booten and have all these pages with no photos. That's funny. Okay, so we did A as our teal suitcase. Then we're going to do the pink flower to the left, which is this little guy right here by the globe. I'm going to put him right there. Then a pink heart at the bottom left corner. So we're kind of building our tiny things. When I'm designing a page, I start big and I work my way down. And on every page that you create, I want you to remember that you need to have large, medium, and small. Because again, we're talking about contrast in all ways. Contrast in color, contrast in pattern, contrast in shape, contrast in size. And so it's really important to have a contrast in size from large, and larges are usually going to be the things that you want to be the most prominent, your photos, your journaling, all the way down to small. The small things typically just add texture. You always need texture on your page. Okay, so the teal and pink heart geotag, this one's going to go up here and it's going to kind of point towards our green scallop. Then the orange flower under the arrow at the globe. So this arrow, yes, that is from here. Gotta find it. I thought I pulled it out. Oh, yes. So the arrow was from our pack. This is from the sentiment bits. So see that teal arrow? That is from the I think it's from the sentiment bits. No, that says this moment. Hold on, double checking. No, the teal arrow is from the journal bits pack. So I used this teal arrow to kind of bring your eye from the center point of the page over to the journaling, right? Just like that. Okay, question. Small pink flower and die cut flowers popped up. I did not. No, if you want to, you can totally do that. The only thing I popped up so far was the suitcase because it's sitting on top of the scallop circles and this globe. So I did pop that guy up. Okay? All right. I'm just making sure that I didn't miss a step. No. 4, 5. No, I didn't. Okay. All right. So I want you to grab that teal arrow and just get some liquid glue, or you can use your tape runner and pop that on. Don't use too much glue because you could definitely see, you know, the glue, I don't know what you call it, the shininess of the glue if it seeps out. And this is when I need my my little tweezers. Okay, so I want you to take that arrow and kind of pop it there because we're going to be putting a little square stamp right here. So that's going to cover up that weird gap there. So you got that? How's everybody doing? I have the circles on the page, but I am rearranging my photos, so I'm way behind. No worries, Christine. Absolutely. And you have all of this here on your instruction booklet, so you can always put those on after. You're welcome, Lisa. Okay, so we did the geotag. We did this orange flower was where we were going next. So this little flower here that's next to the pin on the sticker sheet is going to go right about there. Okay. The blue flowers are going to be tucked under the top middle scallop. So do you see that little guy right there? It's going to overlap this tag here ever so slightly. Oh, persnickety or MPix, watch for sales. That's a good idea, Rebecca. And Darcel is piercing and stitching. I love that. Your layout's going to be amazing. And then the paper clip is going on the bottom of the orange tag right here, right there. And we're going to use vacay mode just at the bottom, like that. And it fits perfectly in that section. And last but not least, I used Travel Buddies. Now, if you don't have a photo yet, you can kind of just lightly place that on there. And if another sticker works better for you than Travel Buddies, because that was a picture of me with my kids, then totally choose something different, okay? And with anything on these pages, choose something different if you're not feeling it. Okay. So I also give you a tip here. If you're placing stickers on photos like this, you can use a powder tool. And thank you, Virginia, for leaving yours here for me, to kind of de-stick that slightly so that when you put it in place, you can pick it up once you have your photo easily and then use your tape runner or liquid glue to put it on after your photo. Okay, next up, we're going to grab this amazing Good Times paper, and that is the one that looks like postage stamps. This one here. So this is what your paper should look like because we used the bottom strips, I think 2 of them, to cut our scallops for layout 2. I'll put these over here. And I just want you to choose 1, 2, 3. So I did this globe, this 75 cents, and I did the palm trees. Now, if palm trees were not in your vacation and you'd rather use the word adventure, you can do that one. This layout was from our trip to Nice. So that's why I did palm trees. I think for Catherine's, I will do, what should I do? The luggage. Maybe I'll do the luggage. So just choose 3. You know, I like to choose the ones along the bottom so that you're not kind of wasting precious paper cuts. Question, where did the white arrow come from? So Leanne, this one is white and teal, and it is in the journaling bits pack. Journal bits, not journaling, journal. So it's right there on the back of the pack. That's something, if you can't find it, it can get tucked in behind things, so you can add that later too. It'll be easy to add. Okay, I'm gonna grab the luggage. I love little things like this, little, you know, cut apart postage stamps. I think they're very cute. All right, so this one, which has an Eiffel Tower on it, very appropriate. I'm gonna put a little bit of foam adhesive right there because this is the one that our arrow is gonna be pointing to. And I'm gonna put a little bit of tape adhesive on the right side because it's gonna slightly overlap our journal spot. So right there. So we're doing a little bit of just overlapping, just trying to get some interest up on this page. Whenever you have things that overlap, things that, you know, it just takes the viewer more time to look at, it just becomes more interesting. And this one is the luggage one. I'm gonna pop this right on that bottom left section of this top right scallop. Oh, Golden Ellie said, I have been searching for a lost picture and it was stuck to my shirt. That's so funny. And then this globe, I'm gonna put down here, kind of overlapping this destination journaling tag just slightly. So when I do something like this, I like to kind of put that foam adhesive just under there. And then I will use a little bit of tape adhesive at the top, just like that. Just so that stays in place, but it's easy to get that photo template up. Okay, so there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. We made a little triangle. And the center point of our triangle here is our title, which is a really important part of our page. Thanks, Catherine. If you have any input, Catherine, just let me know. Okay, so that's the end of number 9. Can you believe this layout came together so easily, you guys? The next part is just adding your enamel dots. So I'm going to grab the pokey tool here. I love this page. I just think it is so pretty. So I'm going to do just a few on this page because we do want some for our second page. If you want to add more and you are an enamel dot queen and you want more, and grab some from your stash that coordinate. So I'm just putting enamel dot king. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry, Douglas. I should not be sexist here. I wasn't going to stitch, but I love the look, so I just finished one circle in hunter green since I did not have black floss. Love the look and glad I stitched. That's amazing, Jane. Debbie, thank you. When I designed this class, I appreciate you saying that. When I designed this class, I just wanted the class part to just be easy, right? We're just putting things together. I'm trying to tell you guys, you know, why I made the decisions that I did for design purposes, really. Okay, so for the center of your flowers, I want you to use one of the large orange ones. That one I put down here. And then the 2 medium orange ones I put here and here. So those go in the center of our flowers. And then I have a large enamel dot, medium enamel dot in blue, and then 2 of the medium turquoise enamel dots here and here. And that's all I've put on this page. So that is this page complete. How easy was that? And we're only an hour in. I feel like I've won already. It's amazing. All right, you guys. So page 1, our beautiful grid is complete. And I just think it is such a fantastic page. I hope you guys agree with me. All right, I'm going to take a drink real quick while we reset. Take a quick drink. Oh, that's funny. Kathy Brady picked one strand blue, one strand orange, and then she realized she chose Euler's colors. That's so funny. So when I did my stitching, I did 4 skeins to make it a little bit thicker. And I did give you guys the DMC thread color. It's here. It's here. I gave it on my meet and greet. That little video that I did. So now I need to remember. It's here somewhere. Okay, I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. I'm going to grab layout 2. Put these back so I know where they are. Still have some foam adhesive here. Okay, so all of the stuff we have for layout 2, we have quite a few things. I love this reset. I feel like I'm very organized for this class right now. All right. So I have my photo templates for layout 2. So make sure you grab those if you don't have your photos. Hopefully you guys printed those out already. And I talked about those in my meet and greet. I have all of my die cut scallops. So I have the medium ones and the large ones. Let me see here. Absolutely loving this layout, says Reika. And now I'm thinking of what to do for page 2 to kind of match this. I mean, page 2 would definitely go, if you're meaning layout 2, so the double pager, or you're thinking of one to go on the side, it would definitely go with it. Thank you, Debbie. DMC 791. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Did I put it in the booklet? I did. I did. 791. Thank you. These things that I forget that I do. Okay. So then we have our large scallops. So look, I cut a lot of scallops. I also cut a few from 1 scallop each from the solids, or I guess you should say cardstocks because they have the dots on them. If you didn't do that, no worries, you don't have to, but it was just something I thought, well, I could put in a few solids in here too. So I have all these kind of put together. I'm going to just throw them in their own little bins so that I can go between the large ones and the small ones when we're creating, because we're going to be making that gorgeous scalloped border. So have your scallops ready. And then we did just a tiny bit of fussy cutting with this camera and this luggage. And then the other 2 things I had you cut out was this really cool vacation memories journaling spot and this tag. I don't have a hole punch for this tag, but I can do it after class. I thought there was a hole punch up here and there's not. And then we have our little posies that we cut along with our other flowers, and we put those aside for layout 2. So I've also already pulled these out, and I can walk you through that when I go to place them. But this is going to be my title. There's a little when and where tag, and then I have a couple of those quote tags pulled out too. Thank you, Kim. Oh, okay. No worries, Kristen. Okay, you didn't have to cut them. Yeah, you can cut them while you're creating too. It'll be fast. The globe is popped up in the center, Deborah. Yes, everything on that layer is popped up. All of your scallop circles and your globe, as well as anything on top of the globe. So this and these, and then your luggage. Okay? All right, guys. So I think we are organized. I'm going to set this over here. Let's get our double page layout out. And then we can talk about, oh, there's my DMC floss. And then we can talk about the bonus layout after we're done here. And I might be able to actually put a little bit of it together. Okay, so 791. What I love about this color is it's that perfect royal blue, that kind of purplish blue. I'm the girl who takes her scrapbooking paper to the craft store to pick out floss. Okay, so we are going to go to the next page in our booklet. Yeah, which is 11. How many clouds are on the pages in total, please? Pamela, I used 48 half scalloped circles. So 24 in total, 48. I did count because I knew you guys would want to know. But if you followed my homework, you will have plenty to choose from. And it's important to do that because you might get down to like placing your scallops and then realize that you don't like that pattern next to that other pattern. So it's important to have some like spares in case you want to switch things up. Okay. And this is going to be one of those things where we just kind of wing it. I'm not going to tell you what to place where. You're just going to wing it. Okay. So here's our double page layout. And this one is all about using your dies and your shape dies to create texture. You can do this with so many different shapes. You can do it with circles. You can do it with diamonds. You can do it with, I'm trying to think of like all the shapes that I have from like spellbinders. They have all sorts of different shapes that you can create something like this with. And I just love it because it creates that instant. Can you go to the detail camera? I just want to show you guys, like, because I only used adhesive.
Come in further.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I only used adhesive on the top of these scallops. Look at the dimension that this page has. I left the bottom without adhesive, but look at how cool that is, right? And just the colors. I think this camera really pops, doesn't it? It's pretty. Yeah, I love it. The colors on this page are just rocking my world. Okay, so let's get to it. No. So 48 total scallops. I did, when I cut my scallops from the homework, I told you guys to do a mix of small and large. So I didn't tell you, like, you need to do 12 small and 12 large. I just want you to, like, if you can cut 2 from one shape, then do 1 small or 1 medium and 1 large. We did not use the small scallop at all just because I thought it would be too small for this layout. So for the first layout, we did all the large. And for this layout, we did the large and the medium, okay? So do a mix of both. Okay, hexagons would be great. Leaf dies would be fantastic, Christine. Yes, I love that. You guys are already thinking of what's in your stash. Okay, so let's start off on page 11. And we are going to grab white cardstock for our background, which I don't have. Hey, Catherine. Could I get some 12 by 12 white cardstock? I am so sorry, you guys. Unless there's some here. There might be some here. Oh no. Okay, but I'm gonna go to step number 2. Okay, that is totally my fault. I was like, oh, I have everything. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't have the white cardstock. Okay, so for this one, upside down hearts would be fantastic. Yes, thank you, Catherine. Okay, so number 1 was starting with your 2 pieces of 12 by 12 white cardstock. That's for your background. Then we're going to take this pink ledger, which is, I love a ledger, you guys. And a ledger just helps you to line things up, A, because you have those lines, so it automatically means you're going to make everything straight. B, it's another tone on tone, which I just love. So trim off the manufacturer's strip. And then we are going to cut this in half. I am so sorry. Thank you.
Latte yet?
No, I'm good. I'm good for my latte. That'll be my treat after class. Thank you. We had joked that I was like, this class is just, I just feel so relaxed. This is probably the most relaxed I've ever felt in a class. And I was like, I feel like I could just sit here and have a latte with them while I create. And so that Catherine just asked me if I needed a latte. Okay, so we're cutting it right at the 6-inch mark to cut this in half. Just like that. And then I'm going to take my white paper and I'm going to move these up here so I can see these. All right. I'm going to take my white cardstock here, put these side by side. Now, Becky Adams has taught me that she uses washi tape in the center, which I think is a brilliant idea. Okay, so I want this side to have those dots on the left and this side to have the dots on the right. Now, you're probably like, well, the lines aren't lining. There's lines up here, there's no lines there because that's the top of the ledger. That doesn't bother me, but if you want the lines to be lining up, Then I want you to adhere this side first, right at the top of your white cardstock. Can't believe I forgot the white paper, Douglas. That was a rookie move. It's like I haven't been doing this for how many? I don't know how many. I can't even remember how many of these I taught. This must be like 6 or 7. Oh, Pam, your lines are vertical. That's okay. Go with it. Remember, Pam, you're going to be covering up most of the top with photos. So go with it, no stress. So I'm going to line this up right in the top left corner of my cardstock. Now, for this side, this is where you're going to go off piece a little bit, because I want you to remember, and I said this in the instruction guide, so if you're creating this later, you'll know, I don't want you to worry about the bottom edges of this pink ledger being aligned, because we're going to cover up that bottom edge with our teal cardstock. What I want you to worry about is lining up those pink lines. So I have these next to each other. I'm just popping this here. You know what I'm going to do? This is a little misaligned, the cardstock, so I'm going to trim it real quick so that I can make sure everything lines up. That happens. Sometimes pattern paper is 12 and a 16th and not 12 by 12. Okay. So my dots are going to be on this side. So you flip your paper and line up those lines. So make sure your white cardstock is lined up first and foremost, or attach it together with washi like Becky does. Now, in your album, these are not going to be right next to each other. So if you get it misaligned, you're not really going to notice that much. There we go. So see how my lines line up across? Thank you, Douglas. So that's perfect. Now down here, yours might be off by a tiny bit. No big deal at all. So I'm going to trim this off later. I'm not going to worry about it right now during class. So there we go. So that is step 2. Now, we're not going to put our teal paper on just yet. We're going to build our textured bottom half. Let me show you here. So I started off with a row, but I'm not putting adhesive underneath. So I'm continually tucking things under and pressing down. I did 3 layers deep and 2 layers deep. See how like you're kind of creating columns here? So I did like large, small, large, medium, large, medium. Then I would go in and put medium, 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 you know, and did that. And I did 2 and 3 layers deep on those columns. So there's 3, there's 2, there's 3, there's 2. Okay. And while I'm doing this, how about I put this one here so you can kind of see what I did. I kind of started with the, I'm going to do both sides at the same time, but I started with the left, and I'll kind of go along with what I did on my example layouts. So I have medium there and large there. Okay. And I'm just watching the, Kristen says flip them over so the large section is on the right page at the middle. Okay. Oh, I think that was for Pam. Pam says she's not worried about it. Good job, Pam. No stress. And I didn't say at the beginning of my class, but there's no crying in my classes. There's no crying over paper. It's like no crying over spilled milk, right? I have cried over spilled milk, though. I will tell you that. I didn't do a green one, but that's okay. I did not do a green. I think I cut all of my colored ones large. I think I'm going to do a medium here. So this is where you can just go your own way. Now I have that song in your head. Okay, so when I got over here, now I want to kind of tuck these enough to where the top line will finish with a scallop. I don't want this to overlap. I want my scallop to come right over to the edge here. So I'm going to pull this one over, so then maybe I can use that one, that half one on the other side, pull this one over. Their edges can be slightly overlapping like that too. or not. It's totally up to you. Okay, so now I'm just going to put tape right on that top line. Remember, I want to tuck things underneath. And also, you know, your tape doesn't stick right away, right? It takes a couple minutes for you to really get that tape down. So you should, I'm going to swap this one out. So you should be able to, you know, tuck things in and around it while you're creating, while you're working. All right, I'm going to go with that one. Yeah, question is, are all the top ones large or am I mixing? I'm mixing. And I'm mixing all the way across, Jill. So I just swapped that one out for a small one. There we go. Yeah, I think I like that. So I've got large, large, medium. I keep saying small, but it's medium, medium. And then I'm going to go with a large here because I have a nice space here. So that's my top line. Yes, I like that. Okay. So go right up to the edge with this scallop. So on the next one, we're going to kind of cut one in half and tuck it under. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do that one, a big one, a large plaid, or do I want a small plaid? Now remember to turn them over and see what options you have on the opposite side too, because you might want to use the B side. Now, when you're die cutting, and I told you for this one, the first layout, I told you which side to have up when you're die cutting. And that's because the metal plate makes the edges a little bit rounded. So you can automatically tell which side was on the opposite side when you die cut. But for something like this, it doesn't matter. You can use that opposite side or the side that you had face up when you die cut too. Let me see. You're welcome, Jill. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? So this is just you placing and having fun, right? And that's my top row complete. I'm going to grab this orange one here and kind of cut it in half to put it on the edge. All right, so I'm going to adhere these ones down. Black. Green. The plaid, and then the yellow. And when you're adhering, if you want to leave off the very edges of your scallops to make it easier to tuck things, you can do that too. And this orange, put that there, right on the edge. Okay, so then we can go in with our second layer. And this one, we are literally going to kind of put it up in here and do that. See, you're just going to kind of like pick up the ones that you had before. This is also where a spatula can come in handy to help you lift the edges. So these ones I'm going to go ahead and adhere right away as soon as I get them in place. So I'm going to do the yellow. And if you're following along with my layout, have a picture of the layout in front of you on your booklet if you want to do the exact same pieces that I did. Okay, this one I'm going to go with the orange right here. And I think everyone's quiet because they're placing their little scallops. Hopefully. There we go. Now I like to have that like kind of center point of my scallop lined up in between. I just think it looks much neater. So if you kind of draw a straight line down from where your scallops meet, that should meet the center point of your scallop there. Okay, I'm going to do this beautiful white one. I feel like I smell roasting cashews downstairs. Am I right about that, Catherine? I get a little cashew treat after my class and a coffee. It's going to be delish. Okay. What are you guys snacking on today? I want you guys to tell me. If you're just watching the class and you're not creating and you have your hands free, tell me what your treats are today. Always love to hear fun treats. For myself, I am a nut, dark chocolate, like fruit stick kind of girl. I love those snacks. Oh, it's peanut butter. What? Peanut butter what? Oh, for lunch? Reika said, I love the spatula too. I need to add this to my arsenal. Reika, it's funny that you say that because we have been looking for something similar. So we're trying our best. Okay, here's my pink one here. And then I'm going to do a little cut here. So watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put half of this on one side, half of it on the other. So then the scallops kind of go across my page. Now this one has to go quite far up. Like that. And then I'm going to pop my pages together. You know what? I think I need the big one here. Hold on. I need the big one. Here we go. I know what no frills is. Now, Diana. Yes to chocolate and peanut butter protein smoothie, a Reese's cup and a smoothie. Yum. Love it. I do love chocolate and peanut butter together. Okay, there's that. And then the other half is here. So you want to kind of bridge the gap with some of your scallops too, like I'm doing right now. Just kind of pop your layout together. Mine is slightly off. Try to make sure that you are lined up before you adhere those together, like that. And try to get them as close as you can. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go with luggage. I'm trying not to overthink it. I think that's the most important thing with this step, is just trying not to overthink it. It is important to try not to put two of the same color together, but as long as you don't do that, then it's going to look fantastic. So I am the biggest overthinker there is. So it's hard for me to say not to overthink it, but at this stage, I'm asking you to do that. Okay, there we go. If you have a little gap up here, then you can actually cover that with your little strip that you're putting up there to finish off the page. Okay. How's everybody doing, Douglas? Are they good? Okay. People are talking about their snackies. And this is the part that takes the longest on this page. The rest of it is, this is like our scallops on layout 1. Just creating that background layer is the biggest part. Okay. Doing this one. I'm going with the teal over here, this teal arrow design. Right there. And then white. So you might be faster than me. So what I'm going to tell you right now, when all is said and done, your scallops will come down as far as about 2.5 inches from the bottom. So that's kind of where we're going here. Okay, I'm going to start with layer number 3. After 8 chocolate bars. Gosh, you guys are all having some nice snacks here. So, okay, when you go to this next layer, so this is our third layer technically, you can really pull this down so that you can see more of this pattern, right? So I want you to kind of pull that one down like that. I am going to go in with one of these. Something funny. Can we get, where can we get a spatula? We were talking about this last night. So there are different spatulas on the market. None of them are exactly like mine, but there is one called the We Are Makers weeding spatula. And it was for like weeding your vinyl. And so that's the one that we found that could be the closest. It doesn't have the same shape as mine though. I'm really sad about this. I really want to like figure out how to do it, but it's difficult to get things created. It really is. Okay, doing this one right here. That 47 cents is upside down, but I'm not going to let it bother me. Okay.
But you did mention it.
What? I did mention it. So are you saying it is bothering me?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's okay. I'm going to let it go. So do you see how Douglas just calls me out? He's like, oh no, I know you. It is bothering you. Yes, it is. That's okay. That is okay. Okay, so what I'm doing with this layer, this is the third layer. I'm trying to line up the bottom of the scallop with the bottom of the scallop on the third layer, right? So, you know, layer 2 is offset, layer 3 is lined up. And that's why I say we're creating kind of columns here. So everybody give me a thumbs up or a heart emoji if you're doing okay. So I know that there is proof of life out there. I need a proof of life check. Okay, I'm going in here with my yellow. Do we get thumbs ups? Do we get hearts? Is everyone okay? All right. So this one is going to end, this layer 3 is going to end at the edge here. And then I'm going to grab the next large one to go in on the opposite page. So turning these over to see what options I have here. I'm going to do the polka dot heart, says Kristen. Okay, I see you guys. I see you. And use your spatula wherever you have to pull things up. What's funny?
Somebody's still stitching.
Somebody's still stitching. That's great. That's okay. I feel like that person is happy.
No, more than one person still stitching.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
Well, they're working hard.
Yes, absolutely. That's the important part. They're working to create their layouts. That's what I want. Cutting out for a bit for the Spellbinders Weekender. Have fun, Darcel. It's a great event. I was in it last year. It's a really fun event, and Spellbinders team does a great job. Okay, there's orange. I'm going to go in here with another polka dot. So after this class, I really want you guys, I'm going to challenge you to kind of go through your stash. Find the dies that you may not have used for a while and see if you can recreate this page or something like it with different dies. I think that you would be surprised at how you will look at dies in a different way now. Just their versatility. Even if you have floral dies, you can use paper to coordinate with the collections that you're using to cut out amazing florals for your pages and create your own embellishments for your pages. What about little tiny star die cuts? You might have them in your stash, and you can create little embellishment stars. Okay, so I'm going in here with layer 4. So this is our like second to last layer, I think. So this is our offset one again, kind of the middle ones. I love this floral. It makes me so incredibly happy. Okay. The beauty of this is if you have these scallops left over, you know, you'll be able to use them to create another page that coordinates. You could also do this exact scallop detail, but in a vertical column as well, and that would look really fantastic. Maria's starting on layer 3. Good job. I do love a grid layout, and I think the Wonder layout will be cute too. Oh, fantastic. Crystal Bridges in Arkansas. That's fantastic. I went to a mountain once in Arkansas. We drove up from Texas to visit friends who were living there, who were in the Air Force. And I went to some mountain in Arkansas once. It's kind of weird to say mountain in Arkansas, but it exists. Okay, I'm going to do this one. And this one is going to bridge the gap in the pages. So again, I'm going to kind of line this up. I'm going to cut it straight. There we go. Cut this nice and straight right up the center of that center scallop, and then adhere each side together so that these scallops continue across the page. Question, how far from the bottom? Approximately 2.5. Approximately 2.5 inches. So if you're there with 3 layers, then I would say just stop. So yeah, this side is about 2.5, just shy of 2.5. Okay, and then I'm gonna do, what am I doing next? Let's see, I did that one. Let's do this one. And once you have your scallops in place, if you wanna take a little break, wait for me to be done, you can totally do that. I'm going to put this one here. That one there. And then pink. Let's see, do I have any pink left? Let's do this luggage one. Oh, black. Hold on, I'm going back and forth as to what color I should use. Okay, don't overthink it, just do it. Have to remind myself, just do it. I feel like that should be the motto for the class. Don't overthink it. Just put it in. Okay, there's that. Okay, last layer. Last layer. I'm going to tuck this one under. The other thing about these is that they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfectly lined up. Now, right here, you can kind of skip this section here if you wanted to save a couple scallops. You can use those on other pages because this is going to get covered up with this section. Wendy said, is it like the blush dandelion? If you're are you talking the cardstock? Yes. Page 7, number 6. What remains cardstock pieces I am using? Okay, so page 7, number 6. Hold on. That's back here, Wendy. Oh, let me just show you. Here, let me show you what my cardstock pieces look like. That's a good question, Wendy. Okay. So after you're done cutting the homework, this is what your cardstock pieces will look like because you cut essentially the floral die cuts from these pieces. And then I just went an extra step for this layout and cut a 3.5-inch square and cut a couple of scalloped circles from each of the cardstock pieces. So you're going to have plenty of cardstock left over after this class, okay? It's okay, Wendy. That's a good question, though. It's good to ask now so that you don't cut something you don't need to. And the one thing that you want to make sure you don't overcut so that you have these strips is this teal, because we're going to be using that on this page. Okay? Alrighty. Let's put this one in. I can't wait to see how you guys use this die set too after class. Okay, Wendy's got it. You're good, Wendy. Okay, and then let's go over here. I love this floral so much that I feel like I've put it in more than anything else because I just think it's so pretty. I think I need to use this one though. That one. This one. Again, I'm trying to make sure that I line up this column of scallops too. It doesn't have to be perfectly neat, but it just looks a little bit nicer when you do. Also notice here, like I have a big group of solids here, and I kind of want to make sure that I break that up with a pattern. So I'm going to pop this here. These are just the things I'm thinking. Whenever you're layering patterns, this is a good place to talk about this. So even when you're just creating a photo mat and you want to layer pattern on pattern, you want to think about contrast with those decisions too. So just like I did here, where I see this big grouping of solid color, I want to break that up with a pattern, right? You want to have contrast in your patterns. And that's why these work so well. Even though they're all kind of smaller patterns that show more texture, some of them are tone on tone. Some of them are more solid. Some of them have more contrast, like the black. And so it's important to kind of make those decisions as you're going along here, as to, you know, which papers are next to each other so that you can get that contrast in your pattern papers. So I hope that helps when you're kind of laying this out. There's that one, and then we have our final one. I feel like we need to do something good for the final. I've done so many of the florals. Oh, I love that one. Yes. Okay. So how many of you guys are done and were much faster than I was at putting together your scalloped base? Isn't that so pretty though? So then you can go in here and on the end, you can trim off any pieces. So I'll do that now so that we have a nice clean side here. Just be careful you don't cut off your cardstock edge. There we go. And I'm going to cut off this side. And then all of these pieces you can use to create another layout. So there should be enough there to do a nice column of scalloped circles. I'm going to cut off this side. And keep these pieces that you're trimming off too if you want to do another layout with these, because you can definitely use these on the edge. There we go. All right, you guys. So there's our layout base. I'm going to put my scalloped circles over to the side. Whew. That was some work. Okay. How's everybody doing? Does everybody have this kind of built? We feeling good? Okay. So now I'm going to cut, excuse me. I'm going to cut two 12 by 1/2 inch pieces of this teal so that we can cover up the gap between our pink ledger and our scallops. And all you want to make sure here is that your layout is lined up nicely so that these two lines go across the page evenly. I'm going to line this entire strip here. So you can actually use your ledger line on the left side to make sure that it's nice and straight. So I'm just lining that up with my ledger. I'm going to trim this off because it's just slightly over 12 inches. And then I'm going to take this side and line it up. So if your lines are lined up properly, you should be able to line them all up across.
I got a couple questions.
Okay, 12 by 1/2 inch. And that's your teal cardstock. Or you have your other pieces too, so if you choose to do a different piece. Is there a pic of the bonus page? No, we're not creating on the spot, Pamela. The bonus page is now loaded in the instructions, and I'll talk about that when I'm done with this layout. And I'll actually probably have a couple minutes to walk you through starting off that bonus page. Okay, so this is just holding that top layer in place and making it all look really nice and neat. How amazing is that, right? Okay, and this is number 4. So those of you who have not taken my class before, I always follow along with my instructions. I don't ever like skip around. So that's number 4 on page 11 that we just completed. Okay, so this is where you can really make the layout your own by arranging your photos up here. So I did, and I didn't give you like exact measurements of where to put your photos because I wanted you to kind of choose your own adventure here. But what I will say is that here I have 2 3x4 photos, and I made sure they were lined up on the same ledger line. Here I have a 6x4 photo. I'm lining that up kind of on the same ledger line too. And then this one is going to be up here. So you want to make sure that you keep your spacing the same. So my space here from the dots is the same. My spacing in between the photos is the same. If you don't have your photos chosen yet, then just adhere these temporarily. Okay. This one's going up at the top line. And I like that this 4x6 photo here overlaps this line here. So it kind of connects the top portion and bottom portions. And you'll see how I do that with some embellishments too. I love making connections between things on my page. And to do that, that just means things are touching. So when things touch, they become visually one thing, right? It's all about making those connections. There's my 6x4 landscape and my 4x3 landscape. And I'm going to pop this one up here too. So the only one that's off of the same line is this one because it's a little bit taller. Okay, so those are our photos, and we are done with page 11. Now we are going to grab our tags that we cut for our journaling. So these, I'm going to push this up slightly. These are going to go right here along the bottom. But this vacation memories tag, I thought it was really cool, but if you put it here, it's kind of covering up a lot of those scallops that we cut. You can choose how high up you want it or not. I kind of cut it off just above where the place photo here picture is. And you can see that on the example. I think I gave you a really good like close-up image of that on page 12. This one here, I have it placed on the edge. So you want to adhere your vacation memories tag first at the angle, like so. And this is kind of close to the left side. It looks like it's about 1 inch away from that left edge. And then this one is going to slightly go over the top or underneath of it, but they're going to be touching each other. And this is also the one where if you want to punch out that hole and thread your baker's twine through to give it a little bit of dimension, then that would be nice too. Okay, so I covered up the date here with a sticker. We'll do that when we do everything from the sticker sheet. So once you have this at a good angle that you like, then you can use your scissors to cut that off the bottom edge. Okay. I just like, it's very playful, this whole layout. Things are at angles, things are kind of just cascading across the page. It makes it more playful when you put something like that at an angle. Okay, then we are going to grab the little pieces that we fussy cut for number 7. So our cute little photo camera, that one is going to be right here. And you can, if you don't have your photos yet selected, oh, I lost my foam adhesive there. If you don't have your photos yet selected, you can put foam adhesive kind of right here so that you know where that's going to be placed. And then you can add foam adhesive later on after your photos are in place. So I'm going to put that foam adhesive right there, pop this here, and this is going to be overlapping the edges of your 4x6 and 3x4 photo right there, overlapping the teal. Okay, now this one, we're going to do our title because this is going to go along with our title. So I'm going to move this over so you guys can see what I'm doing right here. So grab your sentiment bits because the sentiment bits have all the good title things in them. Okay, and grab that stack of luggage. I don't want this to get messed up. Okay. It is very much a live page and I love it. Thank you, Pamela. I feel the same. It's got a lot of movement. It's got a lot of interest to it. Okay, so this one, we are going to take out our foam adhesive. I want you to pull any title that you want. I chose Travel Memories, but here's what I did here. I left a space right here so that I could use mini alphas to put Sedona here. So you can add your destination name right above it. So you want to add, just leave that little space because I know you guys all have great pieces in your stash, little alphas that you can do that with. Or you can use your own handwriting and make it really special. So I left about 2 lines down. I'm lining up travel with the edge of my 4x3 photo. And oh, Kathy said she saw my pictures of Cathedral Rock and was inspired to use her Grand Canyon pictures. The colors from Sedona match this collection so well in that pink. I thought, perfect. So yes, thank you for noticing that, Kathy. We did this trip last spring break and it was like the perfect trip for my kids and my family. And the Cathedral Rock, we hiked that at sunrise. So when we got there, the moon was still up over it and it was just stunning. Really like one of the highlights of our trip. We're big hikers in my family, so I have a lot of mountain, a lot of trail pics. So I'm always looking for those collections, travel collections that you can use for anything. And it's funny because my first layout was from Nice, so a completely different trip. And yet this collection looks great with either trip. So the word memories, I popped up using foam adhesive, and I am going to put that on our teal strip overlapping the word travel. And it's going to kind of line up with the edge of that 6x4 photo. Okay. All right. Now, this luggage, I actually wanted to put that underneath the edge of memories. I want this to pop up too. So you can kind of group it with your memories word so that they both pop up together. So see how I'm just adding a little bit of foam on this side. And then I can kind of stick it I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Stick it under the edge of memories. Hold on, I need to take off a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so that this S in memories can overlap the luggage. Can they see that, Douglas? Yes, they can. Okay. And then I can put a little bit of tape runner here. Just put that down. So they all look like one thing together. One of my favorite double page spreads. I think I have that die. I have to make it. Thanks, Andrea. You should make it. I would love to see what you created. Okay, now we got to grab a quote card. So I chose, these are all from the sentiment bits. For my layout with Sedona, I chose the Horizon yellow quote tag. There are 3 total quote tags in here, and I want you to choose the one that works best for you. I think that for Catherine, this one that's talking about, it says traveling, it leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. I thought that that one would be perfect for her. So I am going to use that one. Let me know if you agree, Catherine. Am I making the right choice? Okay. This one's going to go right down here. And this one is going to go underneath of my 6x4 photo, but I'm leaving a little gap in between the word memories and this because we are going to put our little go tag here. Okay? Now we need our happy little moment phrase. This one I put at the top on my 4x3 photo. There are a couple little phrases that are this tiny, you know, these tiny little phrases. So choose the one that works best for you. Just call me if you need me to help you finish. I love it. So I'm just putting this with one tiny little bit of adhesive there just so I can stick it in place. And when I go to put the actual photo on, then I'll know where to add that. Okay, and then we want to do 3 hearts. So I wanted to do this all together so that we didn't have to keep going back to the sentiment pack. I did a yellow heart here next to my camera. I did a teal heart here, but I might mix this up now. I'll do the blue heart there since I have the teal quote, and I have the teal heart up here. So those 3, yellow, blue, teal. Yes, Debbie, the not asking for much phrase is funny. I only ask for what is it, like 3 vacations a year or something like that. Okay, then from the journal bits tag, the journal bits set, I want you to grab the when and where. This one I put up here at the top, right there on the top edge. This, I just want you to make sure because we all will forget. Right now you think, oh, I'll know where those photos were taken, but we're all gonna forget. So put the when and where there and make sure you journal in that. What year, what month and year and your destination. Okay, so there's everything from the sentiment bits. Then I want you to grab your sticker sheet, which mine's up here. So I love this big Let's Go Exploring. I just think it's really cool. I used foam adhesive on this. Now, this is a great time to grab your powder tool, especially if you don't have your photos down, and just powder up this sticker so that when you go to place your photo later, it doesn't stick to this and you don't want to ruin a photo. So what I'm doing is using that powder tool, and then I'm going to add a strip. I need this to be a little bit thinner. A strip of foam adhesive on the bottom edge so that the top edge is not stuck down and I can slide my photo under there. See how I did that? This is called like planning ahead. And then you could put this right underneath your 3x4 photo and it almost creates that nice edge on the bottom. And then you can stick your photo under there when you're ready to put that in. Because I don't want you to rush selecting your photos, but I also don't want you to tear up a photo. the hot air balloon. This is where this comes in. I love this hot air balloon. Just think it's so cute. And since I don't have a photo here and it overlaps, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use Virginia's powder tool. Thank you, Virginia, for letting me borrow that. And I'm going to pop this here. Now I'm going to leave like it partially sticky so I can just, because like this corner is sticky. So then I'll just do that. Oh, that one goes here. Sorry. This one goes on the edge here. Okay. And then we want the Go luggage tag. This one's going to look really cute here. Again, popping these things up as much as you can, just adding more depth, dimension to these pages. I just love all of these colors on this page. This page makes me so happy. And I love that it makes me just as happy as it did when I was making it. So remaking it again makes me happy. Then we need the Adventure postage stamp. That's this little guy right here. And he is going to go along that bottom edge. I'm going to pop him up too. We're just going to be popping all the things up. And I kind of placed him at an angle, little askew. And then Let's Get Lost. So the Let's Get Lost yellow sticker is this one here. If you want to use a different sentiment, then by all means do that. I had it kind of coming out of the edge of the camera. And you can do that just below your photo if you don't have your photo there. So I'm going to lightly stick that down. And my yellow heart is right below it. I will glue that on after I'm done. Okay, blue geotag. So we need a blue geotag. That's going to go at the top by our when and where tag right here. It's going to go on just on the edge of that to cover up that edge and just decorate that a little bit. Then we need the escape tab. There's several tabs, so if you'd rather use one that's patterned, you can do that. That one's going to go right up here on this 6x4 photo. And then we're going to grab our little posies. So I want you to kind of scatter these around. This is what I did. I did a yellow here. I did a teal here and a pink here on the adventure. Then I went up here on this section and I did pink, orange, and yellow right here on my luggage. And then I put enamel dots in each of the centers of those posies. So I have 6. You can even pop the other 2 there and there.
Question.
Yes, question. Were the photos popped up? So in the instruction booklet, I said that I only popped up my 4x6 and my 6x4. These 3, my 4x3s and my 3x4s, are all flat to the page. So I only popped up these 2. I ran out of scallops for the second page, so I need to die cut more. Yes, die cut more, Leanne. You have your die. You have plenty of paper left, so do that. Okay, so that is layout 2, my friends. Should I show you quickly our bonus page? And you guys have time to kind of complete that and listen to me while I show you how to do this. All right, I'm going to grab a white piece of paper because that is what you're going to need here. I love this layout. So this bonus page, you can find the instructions for a PDF in the instructions in your class dashboard. So the instructions tab. This is why I wanted you to save all your remnants so that we could do this page. As soon as I created the other pages and I had those squares left over, I knew that I wanted to create this page, and it is fun. It is a fun page. So let me show you how I did this. Yes, Lisa, keep working on placing your scallops, my friend. All right, I know I love a bonus page, Paula. And you know what? We're gonna come back and we're gonna create another project after this too. There's so much left over, so we can definitely do that. And I'll be putting that in the group when we can get together to do that. We'll do it live. Okay, so this is our page. Here's what I did. I took my leftover squares. These are all 3.5 by 3.5, and I just put them here. And this is also why I said it's a good idea for you to center your scallops in the middle when cutting these too. If your scallops aren't perfectly centered, it's going to be okay. But I placed that one there. I placed this one here. So you're going to have a 10.5-inch square when you're done. This one there. This one. I think I had a blue here, but I'm going to go with a teal here. So you're going to get these all in a placement that you like. Any of your squares that you wish, okay? There's this one and this one, okay? And then once you have them all neatly lined up, and you could do the exact same thing that I did on layout 1 and adhere them down temporarily so it's easy for you to get them in place. Then I popped each one of them up with foam adhesive. So I added a strip of foam adhesive on the sides, the top and the bottom, and then I added tiny pieces of foam adhesive in the corners so that it really holds up. Like there's going to be no crushing these squares. So once I did that, then I cut the edges off of my white cardstock to create this, this middle section. I backed that entire thing onto an extra piece of cardstock that I had in my stash. So this is the coordinating Simple Stories cardstock that I used here, but I want you to use any color that matches the collection. That creates the base of your page. Once you're done with that, then you can add fussy cut elements like I did here with the hot air balloon and the luggage. You can add bits from your sticker sheet, and I kind of tucked those into the scallops and on top of the scallops too. And I outline all of this on the bonus content so that you know exactly which piece this is from and where it was cut from. Then I just added my journaling on a tag here. I have one single 4x6 photo, which is one of my favorite photos from our first family vacay as a family of 4. And then I added my title below it. It's a really easy layout to create. And if you don't have any of these shapes left over, you have paper left in your stash. So cut out some more scallops and create this page because I think you guys will love this one. All right, I am going to leave you guys to it. And you have Jess coming up at 1 o'clock. She just got here. So she's going to come up here and you are going to do a lunch and learn with Jess. I am going to place my layout photos, which I meant to do right before class, in the album. So if you haven't already put your layout photos in the album, wait for me to do that. I will put my layout photos in there so that you can have a quick place to find them. Glinda says, great idea, Glinda. You could make some of the circles as shakers. You could back it with transparency and put little shaker bits on the inside. I love that idea, Glinda. Yes. All right. You guys are wonderful. And I have had such a great time with this class. I hope I've made you think a little bit about how to use those die cuts in your layouts and that I've given you some design ideas to think about when creating future pages. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys again in the wrap up this evening when I'm getting cropped. I'm going to go rest until then because it's going to be intense. I have an idea. I have a premonition that Catherine's going to come up with some really good ones for us. All right. Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to see your pages and happy creating, my friends. Bye-bye.